moon.
Hello there, Cockles here, and I'm here to talk to you about how I might build a list when I'm trying to play the Republic. I like to use the list builder tabletopadmiral.com. It has my profile, it has lots of things saved, it has my collection so it shows all the units I have. Only drawback is bloody adverts. Go away. So, obviously you've got your factions. I'm going to go Republic today. Let's have a look at the Republic. On this you have it's filtered by your leaders, operatives, core, special forces, support, and heavy support. So there's all them to choose. Card pops up there, has the keywords on here, and then obviously the command cards down there when you need to, along with battle plans. Then you have how many activations, how many points, and all your little core information and unit selection, that sort of thing. Because I'm playing Republic, I'm just going to go straight off the bat. 1, 2, 3. I know I need those 3 minimum, so that's what I'm going to do. I might change them, I might not. But in this particular list, I'm going to try and build a Kenobi list, working with his Jedi Master. Is it going to be competitive? No. Am I working to see if I can do something with it? Yeah. So we'll see what goes on. So Yoda first off the bat, burst of speed, bang. I'm going to play burst of speed because I like the idea that when I play his size matters not card, that's a speed 3, and he has burst of speed. The tactics in that being, if I play burst of speed on the turn before I play size matters not, when I play said size matters not, that speed 3 will be a speed 2 because of the immobilized token. So he can still maneuver around the battlefield as is his will. Again, to stress, I'm not making something super competitive. I'm just talking how I might make something with a concept, and this concept being Yoda and Kenobi. So let's just see what happens. Next on Yoda, I am sticking on for, where are we? Where is it? Battle Meditation. The reason I'm sticking Battle Meditation is this. While you're issuing orders using a command card, you may issue one of those orders to any friendly unit on the battlefield instead of the indicated unit of the command card. Keep that in mind when I pick my battle cards later on. Lastly, I am going to put on Barrier or Push. Never leave home without Push. Barrier for the defense. I'm going to go with Push for this guy, for Yoda. And because Kenobi's going to have something else instead, I'm going to look at the orders in a bit and decide what to do with those in a second, because I cannot. On Kenobi, I am sticking on Force Barrier, because he's the defensive guy, and then Force Reflexes, because he loves his dodges, because he's got Sarisu Mastery. So he can do the old spend a dodge when he's doing Guardian. For his training, I've got options here. I like the Into the Fray because if he pushes himself in, he can gain plenty of tokens that he can then eventually potentially use for defense, offense, and or the Guardian should he need to roll for Guardian. Tenacity. People poo-poo the tenacity option, but his dice of 3, we had this 3 red, 2 black, 2 white, statistically works out that you would get an average of 4 wounds through. This compared to Anakin's is something like 3.2 when on Anakin's 5 red dice. The difference is because he has the critical 2 there. I know eventually Anakin powers up to get Surge crit, but it's a very much as again, I'm going with the concept. In this case, I think I'm going to go with let's go with into the no, let's not go into the fray. Let's go with tenacity. Again, it's a concept I'm working on. Let's just see if we can figure something out. Now, I know I've put... I'm going to leave the orders out for now. We'll think of those later on to see what space we've got. My natural inclination is to stick on maybe improvised orders, vigilance, or lead by example. Lead by example strictly because the inspire might come into handy on both either Yoda and or Kenobi. Right, moving on to the core. This is 2 expensive units here. If I take the core away for a second, of my 800 point list, I've currently spent 416 points. So that's enough to keep me occupied. Padme. I'm going to add her because one of his command cards comes in handy with her later on. One of his actions on his command cards works really well with her, and she's a brilliant support piece for the rest of what will be a small army, but it will keep them alive, hopefully. Again, concept, not competitive, but we'll see what goes on. Am I going to put anything on that on Padme? No, I'm not. The reason I'm going to not put anything on Padme is because if I stick her weapon on there, it's range 3. If I'm doing anything but generating tokens from her with quick thinking, I'm doing it wrong. And I would suggest the same to most other players who use Padme. Padme should strictly be used as a support piece. She should be doing nothing else but sticking back, staying nimble, using exemplar, being authoritative. So if when she issues an order to herself, she'll pass it to someone else. That's all she should be using, and that's all she should be doing. There's nothing else. If she's being shot, there's a problem. Right, back to my core. Options on the Republic are slim. Phase 1s, fire support, 1 black, 1 elf, etc., 1 courage, black dice. Phase 2s, same sort of thing, but they're reliable ones. They gain a surge token and they're courage 2. If you're leaning into, say, 501st or something like that, you can put phase 2s in because the courage 2 is really, really, really handy with the new suppression rules in terms of that and scoring these days. So that I'm not even going to entertain pikes at the moment. I know they're a thing in some Yoda lists, but I'm not going to put this in. I won't have the points for it. I need to think of either 3 here or 3 here. Because I'm going for quite an elite army in this one, again, concept, not competitive, I'm going to try a phase 2, another phase 2, and a phase 1. The phase 1, I'm going to stick Boyle in. Boyle is pretty much the only auto take in the Republic these days because of the Guardian. And in this case, I'll have Guardian on him and Guardian from Kenobi. So I can choose my... within reason, I can choose my defensive dice and see defense and basically move the attacks from one unit to another with Kenobi using Zurisu and Boyle. On the phase 2s, I am going to put on the heavies. I'm going to put 2 phase 2 mortars to give me a little bit of range. Oh wow, 724 points. Maybe not then, because look, 78 points. I don't think I can afford to do that. Otherwise, I'm very short on activations. Let's just get a couple of phase 1s in there, and I'm back, and I've saved myself a lot of points. On there, heavy. Let's stick a couple of RPSs on there. So some range anti-armor. That'll do nicely. After that, what am I going to do? I'm on 6 activations. What shall I do? What shall I do? Normally, I might just go, there, a couple of barks, done. What should I do? There we go. But I'm over by 124 points. Does that mean I want to sacrifice something that I'm doing on here? Maybe I should. Because I've still got two powerful units on here in terms of Yoda and Kenobi. So maybe I should sacrifice Padme to support these guys. But the problem is, Padme's exemplar for me is super effective when handing out dodges, handing out aims when they're doing something on there. So what should I do? Do I drop a bark? Maybe I do, but now I'm 7 activations. That feels not very nice. Let's keep that there. Let's put that there. Maybe I take the 2 heavies off. I'm 8 activations. I've got my bid and I've got that there. But that requires me then having to rely on Yoda and Kenobi to do a lot of heavy hitting, and with the armor being around currently as it is 2023 in November, the need for anti-armor is ever present. So let's keep the RPSs on and go there. Then let's go with the RPS. And let's stick an RPS on Boyle's unit as well. Where can I save 45 points from? I think I'm going to take them off of take it off of Padme. Save the points there. I've got 60 points. Oh, this is... I wanted to do a Yoda Kenobi. Maybe I just can't do a Yoda Kenobi these days. Maybe you can't do Yoda Kenobi with lots of upgrades on your core because it's just too expensive. No, 7 activations, I've got 100 points left. If I'm going with the idea of sticking that on, I could do that and then just have those as token generators and then get Boyle on and then just run it. Yeah, no, can't do that. So 782, I'll have no anti-armor, but I've got what I want to do in terms of objective grab and do all that, because this will play missions quite well if I can keep her safe and him doing some heavy work and him doing some work. So let's just leave that now. That's a little concept. Let's just leave that there for now. I've got 18 points to play with, so let's have a look at sticking something on Yoda. Now Yoda I'm not going to be pushing up mentally up the board unless I really, really need to. So I may be thinking lead by example might be something for him to have, because he can sit at the back and inspire stuff off of the troops. On Kenobi, maybe I don't need anything on him and I can stick improvised orders on Padme because she's going to also be sitting at the back, and again she's more likely to stay alive compared to Kenobi, so I want to keep the improvised orders option available and give me a 5-point bid. At the moment I'm going to stick with that. Again, not competitive but a concept, something fun for people to try because it's a double Jedi type thing and it's just it's a bit of a laugh. Command hands. I'm taking Yoda, Kenobi and Padme. Yoda, there is no brainer about this. You take all three of his. Size matters not, there is no try. Luminous beings. Luminous beings because everyone can use his green tokens, but he doesn't attack. So in that turn, what does he do? Yoda doesn't attack, so he does guidance, and he can guidance and get Padme to do her quick thinking action, where she gains an aim and a dodge, therefore using her exemplar for everyone else as well as Yoda. So you've got 2 units in a turn doing possibly 2 turns if you're playing the Yoda card again. 2 units doing sharing tokens and being exemplar. Yeah, Yoda can't attack, but it's not the end of the world. He obviously, if he does get attacked, he gets to gain tokens again though. So hey, a little small bonus. Moving on from that, so there's the 3 there. You've got there is no try. When Yoda issues an order to a trooper, it gains outmaneuver, relentless, and a 1 dodge token. Do you remember I put on battle meditation on him? I don't necessarily need to put that. With that, I have the option of not putting it on Yoda and putting it on someone like Padme and Kenobi. Yoda doesn't need to have an order if he's sitting back and being supported, because then I can give it to Padme to trigger her quick thinking. I can give it to Kenobi straight off the bat anyway, to hopefully get him in to do some moving and charging. As a result, he gains outmaneuver and relentless. Kenobi already has charge, so that's not a huge deal. But yeah, he can just do some double moves and charging, and he has the outmaneuver for that turn, so he can spend the dodges on the Sarisu, spending dodges to defend, all that kind of crap. Lastly, size matters not. I've spoken about the how I could use that in conjunction with the full speed, but equally, if I'm not using him to be a beat stick in that particular turn, he can use his free actions twice if I need to. Oh look, guidance! I can guidance twice on Padme, so she can quick think twice. So there's 2 dodges, 2 aims straight off the bat. Happy to do that. So there's maybe Yoda's cards, which leads me on to the next ones. Hello there. In my opinion, one of the most powerful cards in the game. People can disagree, people can agree. The reason I think it's the most powerful card is because this card can get played and you can get the magical Happy Christmas Land where a unit can do 2 attacks in a turn without playing a command card like the Son of Skywalker or the Cad Bane or the Bosk one, that sort of thing. This, he basically, the way you would do it is you would play it after you've yeeted him into an army. You play it knowing you're going to do that at some point, and then all the units around him, if you say 5 or 6 units, you take 1 standby. Done. And then take dodges and aims according to your wills and needs. Perfect chance to use it. Now, yeah, okay, you're gonna, if he's got a wound, you're getting 3 red, 2 black, 2 white with critical 2. Aims and dodges will help. It's up to you how you use it. The wonderful other thing about the standby though is you can keep him, if you've yeeted him into melee for the previous turn and kept him there, or not killed the unit that he's in melee with, you can, let's just check, you can, what was I going to say? You can do a standby, and then when your opponent plays said card, or activates a unit, you can choose when you want to do something with Kenobi. You can either do it straight away and attack, or if he activates or she activates a unit and they run away, you can just follow and you still proxy your charge. Brilliant. You've also got nimble, so if say you have 5 units around you, you take 1 standby, 2 dodges, 2 aims. When you spend your dodges, you're getting 1 back straight away, so you only will get maximum 1 each time you do it, but say you spend 2 dodges, you'll still have 1. It's a good it's good, not a good, it's brilliant. It's a good protection. Which leads me on to something else. I picked Force Reflexes. Now my brain for thinking at the time was like, I know, I'll take Force Reflexes because I'll use that to then get a dodge so I can do some Sharisu stuff. But in hindsight, you know what I'm going to take? Force Push. Because if I do yeet him forward, I can then just go, I'll push you in, push you out, and control units as is my want in terms of force pushing and moving into combat, all that kind of crap. However, that means I'm down to 800 points. So maybe what I'm going to do is drop push on Yoda and take the barrier on Yoda, drop the barrier on Kenobi, because if Yoda's sitting behind, he's the one who'd be doing the barrier, and he's got Master of the Force too. Maybe that works out better. And then just take reflexes there. I've saved my points. Kenobi can still do what he needs to do if he's yeeting forward. Yoda still does what he's doing if he's sitting in the back lines. The only difference is Yoda this time, if someone comes in his back lines, he hasn't got the ability to do the force push. However, he with his mastery can do 2 attacks. So if he's played right and timed right, you can move and do 2 attacks and do different things with him. Could be handy. Let's just see what happens there. So I've saved my points. Back to command cards. Kenobi's other 2 cards, Knowledge and Defense. Dodge token, use 1 dodge token for each other friendly trooper at range 1. Really handy if you know you're playing a gunline army. You can just go, right, I've got, and you're doing your clone ball, you just go, right, cool, I'll drop that on Kenobi. And if he's nice and close to the rest of your army, you've got, let's exclude the bugs, you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because he's range of himself. You've got 6 dodgy stuff there. And you can use the Guardian during a melee if you needed to as well, because hey, it may be if a Magna Guard has come up right into your face, that might be handy. And that can go, but the order can go on any troopers you want. So you could stick it on Padme, you can stick it on Yoda. It doesn't have to be on Kenobi, just up to you. The counter to that is aggressive negotiations. Padme can issue, when Padme issues an order to a trooper, it can do a speed 1 or a move, speed 1 move, gain a name or a dodge or a surge. Really handy. I have used the card plenty of times before, and it was handy on certain turns when you needed to push for an objective that scored on the turn. So what is it? Intercept transmissions. Handy on that one because you managed to get that. Your opponent may think, oh, they're a little bit further away, and all of a sudden you just go, no, I'm a little bit closer. So there we go. The other option for that is air support. In this case, I don't think I'm going to use it because I think the other 2 are better options. Once the air support gives you the shoot after card. it's cool, but I think one of the other two are better based on your playstyle. However, again, look at your playstyle. If you're sitting back, go for it. Up to you. It's all command cards are a personal preference and style for me, in my opinion, anyway. I'm in this case going to go for because I like the option of the move, and they've got the authoritative, so it doesn't have to go on Padme. So I'm going to go aggressive negotiations. Could be a controversial call. It could not be. I think it's because I'm going with the theory of my style of play is I like to trick. I like to keep people on their not on edge, but out of their box thinking, that sort of thing. And with her authoritative, it doesn't have to go to Padme. It can easily go to two of the clone troopers, and then I can proc some fire support with Yoda possibly, or the other one as well. I mean, it's extra dice. It's not necessarily a heavy hitting dice, but it's an extra dice. Moving on. The final pip. What we got? It's the pip 3. Diplomatic cover. General Kenobi. And assault. Assault would be pretty good if you. I like assault in general for armies, just to stick when you're playing Republic, just to stick on all your core troopers, and then you get fire support. I would probably take this had I put heavy weapons on my clone troopers, and I would just play the assault card and put it 1 on Padme, and then 2 on the clone troopers to get fire support shots to get a heavy hit. In this case, though, I'm not. Because I don't have the heavy hit off the heavy weapons, I'm going to put it on General Kenobi, and the reason I'm picking that is because once per round, my units will get a butt ton of surge tokens, because when Kenobi issues an order to a unit, that gains 1 surge token for each of the friendly range 1 unit of it. If you're playing clones correctly, everyone's close to each other. So apart from the Barks, who will be doing barky things, everyone's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Kenobi and 2 other units are getting 6 surge tokens. So Kenobi's getting the order, so he's getting 6 surge tokens. Padme's getting the order because she's getting 6 surge tokens, and she's exemplar. She'll share those tokens quite nicely. And then 1 other unit. I mean, there's no point in sticking it on Yoda because he already surges. So, and the only reason you stick it on Yoda is if you want to do things with him, i.e. guidance. So you can just go, yeah, Padme, do another guidance, all that stuff. You're probably going to stick it on Boyle because he'll be hiding, moving around there, get him to take a dodge, and then he can be, if you've got him as your guardian guy as well as Kenobi, up to you. That's my command cards. Now, because I'm playing at 795 points, there's a decent chance it'd be my deck. And when I pick a deck, I have 2 considerations. The first one is what do I know I'm good at playing, and that should probably be everyone's first sort of consideration. What do you know you're good at? I know as a player, not necessarily as a list, but as a player, what do you know you're good at? I know I'm generally quite good at bombing run. I know I'm generally quite good at breakthrough. I know I'm all right with hostage exchange, particularly with this list because it's the double Jedis. And I know I'm quite good at recover the supplies in general. In this case, though, I'm not going to take bombing breakthrough because I only have 8 activations, so sod that. I am going to keep bombing run though because I've got 2 speeders and I've got Yoda, and Yoda's got burst of speed and the Pip 1 card, so handy. You can stick a bomb on him, and he is a green frog bomb. It actually works really well. I've won games with it when I ran my Kenobi, when I ran my other lists, my other Yoda list that I've done with it. In this case, though, I am probably going to go key positions because I've got Jedis who can do special things. So I think that's probably a better option there. Sabotage, though, I find boring, and that's just my opinion. Maybe that's the better choice. Maybe payload might be better, but I'm going to play KP just because I'm going to put KP in there just because it's one that's like meh. Yeah, go for it. And I would prefer the other 3, but we'll see what happens. My second consideration, though, when I'm building a battle deck, is what do people not like in terms of deployment. And if I'm honest, I'll take the stuff people hate. Disarray, people hate, but works for me because disarray I have to put 2 units, At least I have to put minimum 1 unit in each deployment zone. If I'm honest with you, I'm putting the 2 barks in one deployment zone and everything else in the other. Doesn't matter. And then the speeders, they're speedy enough to just either I'll zip them around and keep them at one place, or I'll just go zoom zoom and meet up with the rest of the army. It doesn't really matter. It's just a tactic I do, and it works for me. I'm going hemmed in if I can, because I've got hostage exchange and I've got bombing run and that. So if I'm blue, I've got options of going left or right and flanking maneuvers. Again, table dependent, but I prefer him. I like hemmed in. It makes people think. Long march. I'll take long march because it can be really handy if I know if I want to condense the battlefield and stop armies that have lots of speeders, Blizzard Force, for example, stop them flanking me. It keeps the battlefield narrow. I can control the engagements more or less in the way I want them to. Yes, I've got a slower army, but if I've got depending on what I'm doing on here, recover supplies, hostage, and bombing run, it's not impossible out of the realms of possibility for me to do quite well objective wise. And roll out for exactly the same reason. It's a long condensed battlefield. Yes, I've got vehicles. I could do that. I don't have to. It gives me the options. So if I'm playing rollout with bombing run, I've got a good chance of going straight up the board and scoring early doors. Lastly, in conditions, in this case, I'm going to probably. I don't want to be the guy that takes 45 positions, so I'm not, because every game I seem to play, everyone has 45 positions because it just gets forced that way. I'm probably going to take Lim Viz because I don't have range, so none of these guys are range guys. If I'm playing against someone who has got range, handy for me, wonderful. Hostile, yeah, why not? It's not the end of the world, because I've got lead by example on Yoda who can inspire and take some suppression off. Obviously that's table dependent based on the terrain, but I'm taking that because I want to. Whoa, what's the next two? I suppose I'd take War Weary, because the clone ball stays close. You stay close to each other, so where the range is reduced to a minimum of 1 for the range where you rely on your commander's courage. I'm staying close to my commander anyway, and my commander just so happens though to have a courage value of 4. So when checking on the panicked, the range for any commanders instead of using its own is reduced reduced by 2. So I've got high courage. It's not the huge issue. I can deal with that. Clones are sticking together. Yeah, why not? I feel confident with that. The last one, I like minefields, but I don't want to be taking the hits with my 8 activations. Rapid reinforcements, not a chance in hell if I come up against a Creature Trooper or Dark Troopers, because they can be used because they are they have the Trooper keyword. Clear conditions, fortified, and supply drop. Supply drop's fine, but you run the risk of your opponent picking up something that would be really handy for them, i.e. heals, i.e. med bots, or repair bots. Not really what you want to run into. Boring as it is, I'm probably taking clear conditions over fortified, just because I don't want to play fortified all the bloody time. It just annoys me, and it's boring. For me, it's just boring. That's my opinion. That's what I'm taking. It's not a world-beating list. It's not a competitive list. It's just I want to run a double Jedi list, and that's my concept. I've got 5 points spare if I want to do something. So it's Yoda with speed, meditation, barrier, and example. The meditation I've explained, so he can on his card with his kit when he has towards him, he can give it to someone else. So he'll probably give it to the Pit 1. He'll give it to Kenobi. If Yoda is still hiding away, he'll give it to Kenobi, because why not? And then he can still do things. He can also give it. He doesn't have to give it to Kenobi though. He can give it to Padme. Padme then triggers her quick thinking and just goes and gets some tokens, nice and for everyone to share because of Exemplar. That's the theory. Whether it works in a game, we'll have to check. Lead by example will be a new one. I haven't done that much before, but that's again, it's a concept. We'll try it, see what happens. Improvised orders on Padme. Again, if I pull a token that I don't want, I've got the chance to switch it. Kenobi, reflexes, push, tenacity. Tenacity is a new one to try on him. It works. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the extra red dice might make a difference when I do the Yeet Kenobi maneuver. Padme sits back. The clones are objective grabbers. You hide them behind cover. You keep them there, and at the end of the game, or whenever they need to score, they score when you want them to. There's no fancy shenanigans with them. The one time you can do some fancy shenanigans is if you're doing when Yoda plays his Pip 3. Everyone gets an order. If you want to, you can fly a bark up, get them to shoot, add 4 extra dice. You just add four black dice onto it. So you're doing 4 black. That total with a bark would be red, 1 red, 5 black, and a white. Surge, hit. Not a bad little dice ball, to be honest. It's not the worst. It's not the best. Worst things can happen. I didn't really talk much about the barks, but in this case, I'm just going to briefly mention it. The barks are there for. They're a distraction. They're not a key piece of this army. They're a distraction. I could easily just take 1 bark off, put some heavies on, and that might be just as well. But I'd be down to 7 activations. I could keep 2 barks and keep flying about and harass. They would be perfect for harassing sniper teams. You get them round the enemies, round the flanks, and then harass. What's the word I'm looking for? Open units and all units out of cover and sniper teams, and it gives your opponent something to think about in terms of how they deploy and all that kind of crap. If it works, it works. Sometimes they can be they just die very quickly because someone just focus fire, which is absolutely fine. But if they're shooting barks, they're not shooting your point scorers, which are here, and they're not shooting Kenobi, and they're not shooting Yoda. So, hey, we'll see what happens. The command cannons are sound. They all have their uses. It's a call over the aggressive negotiations versus knowledge and defense. Again, I've made my call on aggressive negotiations because of this speed 1 move, which could be really handy if you're looking to just if you combine that with the objectives you're doing. So the objectives in bombing run, if Yoda or another trooper has had to pick that bomb up because the barks have died, I'll get that little extra bit of speed off. The hostage exchange, really, really handy in hostage exchange if you play it turn 1, because the hostage unit, although it's just gone back towards your opponent, you're just moving it back towards the center, gives you an extra chance. And then you combine that with Mr. Yoda, the Green Frog himself, and guidance. That hostage unit is coming back that bit quicker. Yeah, and there's no real other. Everything else sort of kind of speaks for itself. So that, for me, is there's me talking through about how I'm building a list. The ultimate rules I tend to go by would be have a concept, and for me, it was the 2 Jedi, and then build around it. What works well with it? Padme works well with everyone in here because of her exemplar. Boyle is Boyle. He has to go in because he saves lives. Boyle saves lives. On there, the barks have their uses, and obviously these guys have their uses, Yoda and Kenobi. The heavy lifting's probably being done by Kenobi. Depending on who you're playing, on how you're playing, or how your style, you're either yeeting Kenobi and going doing, doing, doing between cover and then jumping in the army and dropping hello there, or you're just keeping it back. And when eventually the 2 armies clash in more of a melee style in turn 4, 5, 6, you've got 2, to quote Americans, linebackers, or as I like to say in England, defensive midfielders. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have, please like, comment, subscribe on the video, and I look forward to hearing from you. You can always contact us on our Facebook page, TNM, That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast. And if you like the videos, you can find us, and if you haven't heard the podcast, you can go to Spotify, Apple, and the rest of it, and listen to That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast, where you'll hear other ideas from myself, Andy Terrell, Ollie Dyer, and Tom Smith, and sometimes other people who we get from all around the world. We always like to hear from other people. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Any comment, any ideas? What would you do differently? Please put comments down below. I look forward to reading them.
That's no moon.